All right, can anybody pick up on the reason I passed this out? There is one, there you go. How do you know it's a switch hold? Perfect. Right here. Under miscellaneous charges on the second page of every TXU bill, if there is a switch hold, you will see it there. A switch hold is when you owe your company a lot of money, and instead of shutting you off, you commit to a deferred payment arrangement. And if you commit to that, they'll lock your meter and they'll plop an installment due. So now you have to pay $132. This is what this customer agreed to. It's different per customer. Yeah, she agreed to paying $132.36 on top of whatever her monthly electric bill is. So the first question you want to ask is, how much money do you owe and when were you going to pay it off? Now, I don't tell the customer anything until I find out, when were you going to pay this? Because I want the honest answer. I don't want them to give me an answer that they think I want to hear. So when I identified it was a switch hold, you can actually see, oh, well, you can't see this because I didn't print this out. But on the front page of the bill, under customer communications, you're on a deferred payment plan. The balance remaining is $264. Please pay this full amount, blah, blah, blah. That's actually on the front page of the TXU bill. Now, if it's not shown there, there's one other place, or technically there's a couple places, but where else can you find the exact amount? The message center. Go to the message center, look for a little thing that says switch hold agreement or whatever. Right in the message center, click on it, and it'll give you the totals. It'll give you the payment plan, the day it started, and the day it ends. Okay, so in this scenario, I identified pretty quickly that she had a switch hold. And if you missed that front page, you should be able to see under miscellaneous charges. She told me she was going to pay it on October 7th. That was her plan anyway. So I signed her up because I knew it was a no deposit. So here's the important factor. If this customer also had a deposit, I would not have signed her. It was only because I knew she wouldn't generate a deposit that I did sign her. Because here's the way I look at it. Number one, she's going to get a $250 deposit back from TXU when she switches, okay? Number two, she wanted to switch anyway, so I already had that in my favor. She actually was waiting until her contract expired to switch, and then I got her to switch earlier. Number three, she knew she was going to pay off the switch hold on October 7th before I even knocked on her door. That was her plan. She had already anticipated doing that. This was her only chance to come to us without a deposit. So when I enrolled her, what I did, and this is an important part, I pushed her start date out to 10/10, and I did that for a very specific reason. Why did I do that?
The reason why is because after she pays off that switch hold, Reliant has to be contacted that she paid off the switch hold, and that takes about 24 hours.
So because she told me she's gonna pay it on the 7th. Once she pays it, she'll text me. Once she texts me, I'll email Reliant. And that takes 24 hours for Reliant to remove it on our end. So I also add an extra day or two for a buffer. So she pays it on the 7th. It will likely be removed on the 8th or the 9th. And then our plan will kick in on the 10th. And because it was no deposit, I had to push it out anyway. Because if the plan goes to be submitted while there's a switch hold, it will get rejected. So if she doesn't pay this switch hold, on the 10th, my enrollment will get rejected. So the only shot I have is she's got to pay it before the 7th or on the 7th. Yes. Her deposit will be credited to her final bill, and then she can submit us for the exit fee reimbursement. So not only will she likely not have to pay the full final TXU bill because her deposit is more than her exit fee, but then she'll get the $300 in credit on her second Reliant bill. Her exit fee on this plan, what kind of plan is this? I think it's only a 12-month plan.
Yes.
Exit fee on a 12-month plan is $150 for TXU. So you can't navigate that situation if you don't know this information. So how do I find out it's a 12-month plan? Boom, right there. TXU Energy Texas Choice 12. And I know that 12-month plans for TXU, $150 exit fee. I also know that she paid a $250 deposit. So if you do the math there, she'll still come out $100 on top plus the $300 in credit she gets from us. Yes. So just to reiterate her question, if the customer's late, will they forfeit their deposit? So the answer is yes and no. So let's say the customer pays a deposit, $200 to TXU, whatever. and they keep TXU for 14 months, they will get that deposit back on the 13th month, as long as they have had on-time payments for 12 months in a row. Now, if they are late, they have to start the 12 months all over again. But anytime a customer leaves their company, whether they're late or they owe money or not, they will get that deposit back. 100% of the time, they'll get it back. And if they don't see it, they have to call in and request it manually, but they are owed that deposit. So if the customer doesn't pay off their final bill, they'll still be credited that deposit. And even more, and what I thought you were asking is, does it affect our exit fee reimbursement? So just to be clear on both ends, if a customer leaves their company and they leave with a balance, that deposit is owed regardless of if they paid it or not. Yep. And if a customer doesn't pay their exit fee, they can still get the reimbursement from us. A customer doesn't have to prove that they paid the exit fee to get the exit fee reimbursement. They just have to prove that they got it. And the way they prove that they got it is a bill that shows they were charged. Not a bill that was paid, but a bill that shows they were charged the exit fee. So we're covering a lot of different things here. But again, in this scenario, the only reason I signed it was because I knew there was no deposit. If a deposit had generated, I would not have signed this customer. I don't want to do both. Go ahead.
How much she owe, like 600?
For what?
For that.
For the switch hold?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have never signed it if it was 600. It was
like,
200.
She had to pay that bill, right?
No, the only thing that this woman has to pay, and here's, let me just re-explain that as well before we move on.
That number matches the
total. So it's the total, yeah. So the only thing this lady has to pay in order to remove the switch hold is not the full amount of $400 or $300 or $500. She only has to pay $264. That's it. So as long as she pays the total balance of the switch hold only, then the switch hold will be removed. Even if she still owes a current bill of $400, the switch hold is the only thing that needs to be removed. That's it. And that's why when I told her, I said, listen, on the 7th, if your original plan was to pay the $400 and the $200, and you find that you don't have the money to do that, only pay the switch hold, because if you don't pay the switch hold, and then I was trying to build up a little bit of fear, if you don't pay the switch hold, our account will get rejected. If you call me in 2 months, you'll have to pay a deposit. Our prices could be higher, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's only the switch hold. Yep. And if a customer wants to be 100% certain, they can call in and say, hey, I need to remove my switch hold, and I need to pay whatever I owe right now for the switch hold only. They can do that for all companies, including prepaid. So her total balance for this bill could be $400 or $500, but her total balance for the switch hold altogether is $264. So as long as she pays that $264, we're good. Yep. In fact, this customer told me no, she wasn't interested, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, this is really important, because she did say she wanted to switch. She just told me to come back next week. I said, I can't come back next week. This is what's happening. You'll likely not have a deposit. This isn't going to happen again, blah, blah, blah. And I pushed and I pushed and I got that deal. And some customers, they need that push. Even you're not like, you're a military guy. He needed it. He needed it. And he'll obviously benefit in the end. So some people, they just need that extra push. And remember, the more leverage you have, the more aggressive you need to be. If you can find the leverage. And once he told us that and this was a military guy, we were losing it. And then we found out, on top of all the other benefits, that he paid a $100 deposit to Gexa. Game over. You're not telling me no. Because I already have all these other things. Now you've just given me the last piece I need. So when you have the leverage, be as aggressive as you can get away with, really.